Welcome to the Master Your Genius podcast with Keith Cornies. Listen in and learn as he coaches entrepreneurs to master their genius. Here's your host, Coach Keith.
Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Coach Keith here. Welcome to Master Your Genius. The session that you're going to be checking in out today, listening to or watching went really, really well. I'm just reviewing my notes here, and the takeaways that we're going to get from this session today are how to create a 30-day sprint plan where you have a clear vision and you know exactly what you're focusing to get to. And Matt ended up coming away with a clear plan that's going to lead him to 3 tasks that are going to lead him to his overall happiness and joy. And he knows that he's on the right path, which gives him the confidence he needs to go out and crush it as an entrepreneur. We also talk in the session about the brain and how it's sequential and systematic, and how we need to absolutely define our outcome or the end first before we start trying to figure out the equation. You'll see the power of that. So make sure you guys, listen to it all, watch it all. If you have any questions and comments, we'd really appreciate it. If there's a topic you want to hear, just make sure you give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. Because it's about the collective genius, not just our genius. So we want to know what you guys are thinking, what the world needs, what we need to do to make you guys better in your lives, businesses, husbands, wives, partners, dads, moms. Our whole idea is to learn how to master our genius, become our best selves, and then just go out and crush it in the world and make a positive impact. So check it out. Anyways, Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Doing very good, Keith, and yourself?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
So we were just taught, it was great. Tell me about the tool that you just learned about and you just used. What was that called again?
So it was a book I just read called Scrum, The Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time. And basically it was a system designed by Toyota to compartmentalize certain activities and just make sure that they're getting done efficiently and to their full extent without any critical errors.
Mm-hmm. And you said then you took that philosophy, you made a board, a Scrum board.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you put 30 things on there.
Yep.
And then every day you went there and you just grabbed them, 5 things to do, did them, and now you're at 28 of the 30 done.
Yeah, the idea was that you kind of, you make the board, you date the board, and you pick activities that you can get done to its full completeness, 100%. They say that if you can't do it to 100%. If you can't complete it,
don't start it.
Don't even start it.
Well, it makes sense, right?
Yeah. I was able to knock off quite a few tasks, and really just, I was the most efficient I've ever been, I think.
Well, let's talk about that because, that we're about mastering the genius. That's what this whole podcast is about.
Absolutely.
So, what's interesting is you told me you're at 28 out of 30, and I wanted you to clean the board and start over, and you're like, no, not till the 30's done, which is a perfectionist quality, which is I know that most entrepreneurs and high achievers like yourself have.
Right. That is correct, yeah.
And perfectionist quality, when you're trying to achieve perfection, you're trying to achieve something other than yourself. Where mastery is this place of wiping the board down, taking those 2 that are left over, putting them at the top. And the thing about mastering your genius is your brain is sequential and systematic.
Right.
So I've written down an equation here, right?
Right.
Blank plus blank equals blank.
Right.
Right? So I'm going to think of the answer.
Yeah.
You give me the equation.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I've got the answer. Go ahead. Give me the equation.
15 plus 45.
No, try again.
50 plus 50.
No, try again. Come on, Matt.
22
Get this shit done.
plus
Right?
88.
Don't start. Never start without the end.
Right.
Because look how frustrated you'll get.
Yeah.
Look how embarrassed you'll get. Look how angry you'll get. Look how you'll keep trying.
Right.
People are out there doing this. They keep trying and trying and trying and trying, but they've never, like Stephen Covey says, start with the end first. The brain is sequential and systematic. It needs a process.
Yep.
And so it's always going to keep trying. Its job is to have and find solutions to keep you alive.
Of course. Yeah.
So if you don't have an answer, you're in survival mode and you're creating equations that only keep you alive. They don't allow you to thrive. So knowing that your brain is sequential and systematic and the scrum that you put on the board, you're actually putting things in urgent order. The goal is to finish the 30 and you're starting to pick off the top 3, top 4, the ones that you can finish. And by doing that, you're creating a calm environment for your mind to be laser focused, which you probably noticed from the beginning to the end, you started to actually get quicker at accomplishing the tasks.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what stops you from erasing the board and starting fresh when 2 aren't done?
I think just that sense of completeness, I guess. Scrumming the Scrum Board, I guess. But you did raise a good point. Why not make a new one? Because, I mean, I had the sprint basically allocated. It was a 4-week sprint to get all those items done. Then I went away on a holiday. So I left on that holiday knowing that I'd, done, 98%.
How'd that feel?
So, it was amazing. It was amazing just to be able to go away and just not have it.
Right.
That worry when
because
you
your
come back.
brain knows that you've done the right things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you did the wrong things, right, then the brain would be worried that you're not doing the right things. So this is where procrastination comes in, right?
Absolutely.
And we don't want to procrastinate because a lot of the times we're avoiding the difficult conversations and doing the easy tasks. But if they're on the board and they're in importance, then you realize, to be successful, you have to achieve that. So knowing that there's this equation and knowing that you have to start with the end first, and you just went away and started a whole bunch of answers.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to give you the answer. The answer is 11.
Right.
What's the equation?
9 plus 2.
Okay. And 6 plus 5.
6 plus 5. Yeah.
And 7 plus 4.
Right.
Some people live their life 200 minus 100 minus 90 plus 1.
Right.
But it all equals 11.
I see.
And so I know you're an entrepreneur and you have lots of businesses. Some of your businesses are 200 minus 100 minus 90 plus 1.
Absolutely.
Right? And some of them are 9 plus 2.
Yep.
The whole idea is short-term equations are great for the brain, long-term equations. This teaches us why goal setting is important on a different aspect, not the same old coachy coach aspect. The reason goals are important is because it gives your brain a sequence and a system to solve the problem. Therefore, you can create problems. As a leader, because I know you have a team to lead, right? Every meeting you start should identify what you want to come away with, and everyone should have a voice in that meeting.
Yeah.
Right? And you'll find that when they say, okay, well, I need to understand this, I want this, you'll come up with the collective ending for the meeting, and then you can go as a leader, you can guide them with the equation.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So knowing this, what answer would you like to create for your life in the next 30 days?
The answer, you always ask me these awesomely tough questions that...
Right. So what would you like to accomplish in the next 30 days in your life, business, everything?
We need to finalize some funding on one project. We need to finalize some licensing agreements on another project, and we need to launch a web app for one of the other projects.
Great.
Yeah.
What would you like in the rest of your life, not just the work part of your life? What else would you like to accomplish in the next 30 days? As a dad, as a husband, as a person,
it's
a professional golfer?
Yeah, professional golfer, yeah. It's my daughter's graduation. She's graduating from preschool into kindergarten, so being there for her on that.
Okay.
It was my daughter's second birthday party, actually this last weekend. I have a skill set of blowing up balloon arches, so I blow up 100 balloons, rainbow-colored balloon arch, and weave them all together. So
brilliant.
That was definitely a highlight.
Probably even better than signing some of the big contracts.
It was, actually, to be honest with you. I mean, that's why I do what I do, is because I want to spend more time at home with my family.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the biggest goal long term.
So in the next 30 days, you want to have your daughter's grad, which means more time with the family.
Yeah, I'd like to go to Lake Country,
Sure.
go visit my friend Andrew, so that'll be a family vacation away. Probably do that towards the end of the month. We have a couple... Seems like the season of birthday parties when you have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
We got invited to 3 birthdays on one day. It's like how do you pull that off?
Well, you hang out with people that are pregnant when you're pregnant, right?
Right.
It's that pregnant group.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
And some of those things can be like, I understand a busy man like yourself with a lot of important things to do. Going to a 2-year-old's birthday party that isn't your child could be,
not on the top of the list, but you know what? It's always fun to see your kids interact. Like I love watching them interact. Like this morning, I had an early call, so I actually stayed in our spare bedroom downstairs, so I didn't want to wake my wife up. She's a bit sick, but I got to witness like my 4-year-old walk downstairs quietly and like snuggle with my dog, and then like quietly invite him up the stairs. And I got to watch. She didn't know I was there. And I got to watch, and it was the cutest thing ever. Those types of things, like even when you're out at like other kids' birthday parties, there's so much joy that you can.
I think I know that you take it real serious about being a leader.
Right.
And I know that you want to be philanthropic. You want to give back.
Absolutely.
That's a big reason why you do what you do. And it's like these emotional connections that we have that drive us, I think, more than the physical goals or the monetary goals.
Totally, yeah.
So let me ask you this. So when you're funding the projects, getting the license agreement, launching the web app, going to your daughter's grad, spending time with your family, going to the lake country to visit your pal with the family on family vacation, at the end of these 30 days, what is that collective going to create for you as a feeling?
I think just happiness, overall happiness, and joy. I mean, it just kind of like is adding, more solidity to the fact that I'm on the right path, I'm doing the right things, and I'm getting out of it what I'm putting into it, and if not more, which is why I do what I do.
Well, it's a bit of a celebration moment, right?
Exactly,
I'm on the right path, doing the right things. So doesn't that make you kind of like stop, notice, start over, going, I'm doing the right things, so I'm going to continue doing the right things instead of second guessing?
Yes, that definitely takes reasonable doubt out of the equation. It's been an amazing kind of paradigm shift since I've been able to like kind of delete that reasonable doubt from my brain with your help. I mean, I attribute all of that ability to.
So what do you think that is? Is it the celebration and noticing and starting over, allowing yourself to improve with the +1ing process, or what is it that allows you to do that?
I think it's a collective of everything. I mean, all of the little bits that you've taught me how to implement into my life have collectively added to being able to be more confident, having less self-doubt, and realizing that I'm on the right path. Because really, like, you've taught me the tools to recognize that instead of having, for me to come in and see you all the time, once a week or however many times to get that kind of, refresh. Now the refresh is downloaded into my hard drive, and I'm recalling those things, and I can catch myself, the gremlin getting back there or whatever, and I catch myself, and it's like a little mini Keith shows up, and extinguishes that. So it's the goal setting was one of the bigger parts of that, and expressing that to my wife and showing her, hey, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
I think that was really important, like, sharing your vision and your goal so that when they are part of the process, they're more understanding. Didn't you find that?
Oh,
that
totally.
Was one of our
making
sessions,
my wife inclusive in the process was the biggest paradigm shift in my life at that time. Just because I do so many things, and I'm away a lot, and I work a lot, but she now understands why I'm doing that, and really is now supporting.
And
me.
that feels great as a man, as a husband, right?
For sure, absolutely.
It's like I'm knocking it out of the park with my wife. I'm knocking it out of the park with my kids. So what I notice is you want an overall happiness, joy, to know you're on the right path.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
So. And part of that is these tasks that you have to accomplish. So as you go forward to have laser focus, which with your Scrum Board, you need a time frame.
Yep.
Do you want to do all this in 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days?
30 days.
Okay.
Yep.
So the equation is in 30 days you want to accomplish these tasks so you can have that overall happiness, joy, and know you're on the right path.
Right.
So we know that the equation is you plus your actions. Right? So to stay laser focused going forward, when you get overwhelmed, use your Scrum Board because it's important to do that.
Yep.
What other things do you need to do and stay focused on in the next 30 days that'll have you on the right path?
I think just implementing the same systems that I have to check up. So I have CRM. I have to revisit all those and retouch all of the different international contacts that I have to do. So just staying up to date on that. And then just really focusing on the very important items, the licensing agreement for one of my projects, and then the funding. Those two are imperative. So really just getting rid of all other distractions and just focusing on making.
Is that realistic? Is it realistic that you'll have the licensing and the funding done in 30 days?
It is actually, yeah. Yep.
It is realistic?
It is realistic,
Good.
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Never start anything that's not realistic, right?
No, yeah.
Good.
Yep.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 out of 10, you are laser focused and know what you have to do to make that happen, and 1 out of 10, you're not. Where are you at?
I mean, I'm at a 9 just because I've been plugging away at this for a long time, and
so some things that are going well are your systems.
Yep.
the actions that you're taking, working your board. So you've got a lot of things in place.
Absolutely. And just my overall confidence. Like, I just don't have the time wasting parasitic kind of gremlins that are going,
You should be this.
Yeah,
you should
what
be
are
that,
you doing? You shouldn't be doing
living
this.
in history, right?
Exactly. Yeah, living in the past and doing that. And it's so funny because, you surround yourself with all these different friends and family and stuff like that over the years and that kind of stuff. And it's funny because the people that are close to you, they always are the ones that are most critical of you. And they just think, you're going crazy. So it was also another big shift in my life when I was able just to delete that and just know that, hey, they may not know exactly what I'm doing. So that how can they really just say, you're crazy, you're doing the wrong thing, you're going on the wrong path.
Well, what's interesting is, remember we talked about SCARF.
Right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is the judgment mechanism. Dr. David Rock's work, which is amazing. He's a neuro leader.
Yep.
SCARF stands for status, certainty, autonomy, relational, and fairness.
Right.
And it's the judging mechanism. It's whether we figure we're in threat or reward. And it's funny how people in our sphere of influence, in our circle, want to be critical about what we're doing. And that's why I say be very careful. Don't share your dreams with those who don't share your dreams.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was another very good lesson.
Because you share it with everybody because you're excited.
I'm excited.
And some people want to pull you down.
Absolutely.
Because, I always use the analogy like this. Like, I'm good enough in my life. I'm solid, so I know you're a great father, and congratulations on, creating those awesome opportunities. Now, I can say that to you without feeling like I'm a bad father and I should be doing more. So a lot of people don't say things like that. Even close friends won't say it because it shines a light on what they're not doing.
Right.
If you're having this moment of watching your child at 6 a.m. and they don't have that, they're going to feel like they're missing out. And that FOMO, fear of missing out, triggers the threat. You're a threat to them. So they're going to put you down. They're going to bring you down. That's what people do.
Yeah.
So, but what I did hear when you said that is, the closest people to you are critical. I deleted that. Did you delete it? Or did you learn how to process it differently?
Yeah, I think you're right. I learned how to process it differently. And I took your advice. Even on this most recent trip, I went to my cousin's wedding in Spain. It was amazing. Got to meet up with a bunch of family from all over the world, Australia, London, Sri Lanka, and took your advice. And just, everything that I'm working on is coming to fruition.
Yeah.
And I've been working hard.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until they really started to pry and really want to know that I really, opened up and explained to them some of the things that I was doing. But just on a different level, I think I held back my level of excitement on the projects. Because I'm passionate about the projects that I'm working on, and they are pretty neat.
You share it with your wife, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Share it with your dad, it's awesome. You share it with me, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Share it with the wrong person, and
Not
it's
so
just
awesome.
not so much. And you feel like you're a braggart, and you feel like,
Right.
because I know you're a very humble guy.
Try to
so
be,
then
yeah.
all of a sudden what you want to do is you want to hold it back. Well, you can't hold it back because that's where the energy is.
Right.
So, so what I want you to know, the difference between deleting and processing it. What's the difference there? Why did I ask that question?
Well, it's probably because you're sitting on the other side of the table. But I think you're probably getting to the fact that it's always going to be there, and it's just how you actually absorb the information and you're able to process it instead of just deleting it from your brain. Deleting it from your brain means that person's talking and you can't hear them. But really, that person's going to be there all the time, and they're going to be talking. So you're going to need to learn how to process it. So what has happened is that I've
What
learned how to
tools have you
process
put
it.
in place that allow you to process that?
I think just an understanding about basically my confidence in what I'm doing is actually I'm moving forward. There's internal validations that I've had that supersede anybody else's other judgments, and I think that's the big shift for me is just that I really don't care what anybody.
Well,
else
do you remember that coaching session where we chatted and you talked about you're just lucky?
Yes, that was
Right?
one of our first.
One of our first,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like pushing off the skill set that you have. And by not allowing you to say you're lucky,
Right.
had you look into your value.
Right.
And you had big dreams. You had bigger dreams than anybody I've ever coached before.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And I know because in that situation, Matt was a realtor and we're working in the office and you were selling real estate and doing really good. And,
Absolutely, yeah.
And you had these big dreams. And a lot of people were like, oh, this guy's a dreamer, this guy's a dreamer. don't share your dreams with those who don't share your dreams.
Right.
You and I, we put it into action. We
Yeah.
started putting steps into action. It was like your Scrum Board,
Right.
but it was just on a weekly basis. So when you are processing this, because it's always going to be there, and you understand that, it's your confidence that allows you to process it from a different vision.
Correct.
The opposite of confidence would be what?
I don't know, unconfident, I guess.
Sure. Insecure.
Yeah. Insecure, yeah.
So if I see it through insecure goggles,
yeah,
it depletes me, it diminishes me, and I have no energy.
right.
So I guess the secret here is moving forward and making sure that you get that overall happiness, joy, and being on the right path so that you can execute that licensing and that funding right away. You have to stay in your confidence and you have to identify the process.
Yeah,
And you don't delete things. As much as you think you delete something, the brain retains all information.
right.
Never deletes anything. By thinking you've deleted it, you've basically pushed it under the rug to trip over every time you're going there. So, you know, if you believe that you've deleted these critical people in your life, you haven't.
Right.
And so the processing is accepting. So as you go forward and you're going to be a leader in your businesses, there's 3 jars you can fill. There's the expectation jar, and you expect things to be easy, and you expect people to do what you want them to do, and you expect, you know, everything to go the way it wants. And when it doesn't line up, it turns into a disappointment.
Right.
So have you had experience with disappointments before?
Absolutely, yes. That's part of the job.
Right, because we have expectations because we want to predict the future.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we have 1,000 silent expectations every day.
Right.
So this expectation jar, when it fills up with disappointments, turns into,
Disappointment.
right,
Yeah.
and resentment.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you resent an employee because you're disappointed they didn't do something because they had a silent expectation.
Right.
So as a leader, all expectations need to be voiced, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Now the opposite of that is the other jar that you can go to, which is you accept that things are hard.
Right.
And just before I go forward, tell me how you realize that, because of the businesses that you're striving for, they're not short-term goals, they're really long-term goals.
Absolutely.
How did you shift that? Because when you want it to be easy, you get frustrated. What happened for you to be able to accept that it's going to be difficult and you need to keep pushing through the walls?
So I think it was actually, you know, before I started off on these particular businesses that I, you know, as entrepreneurial spirit, had some other businesses that failed. You know, and you know, we had these great plans and we were gonna, you know, make $1 million and everything.
Take
was
over the
gonna be
world.
Yeah, it was gonna be
it's going to be
fantastic.
awesome.
And really, it just was a false start, you know, and we had a couple of those. And so that kind of primed me up for this. And now the journeys on these 2 other businesses as well, I realized that it was going to be full of disappointment, and the timelines were not going to be, you know, in the time frame that we wanted. But at the end of the day, if you just keep on pushing forward, then, you know, you're not going backwards.
So isn't it fair to say you accepted that it's hard and you're winning,
Absolutely.
right? Life's hard and you're winning.
Yep.
Being
Yep.
married is hard and you're winning. Taking
Yep.
care of a family is hard and you're winning. Traveling with work and family is hard and you're winning.
Yep.
Being a leader in business is hard and you're winning. Being an entrepreneur is hard and you're winning.
Yep.
When that jar fills up, that's where your confidence comes from.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the reason I want to bring this up is because I don't want you just to. I've noticed you use the word confidence, and I'm sure the listeners have heard this, you know, and you've used it about 10 times so far, which is awesome.
Okay, yeah.
Which is what, as a coach, I want to do. I want to pull out your genius, and I want you to see your value and create confidence so that you're able to move forward and do risk and tasks that you wouldn't normally do.
Right.
So I want you to realize that this confidence that you had has been built up of acceptance. And acceptance is a lot of the process. We don't delete, we accept.
Yep.
So what happened here is when the people closest to you were critical, you accepted that and you moved through it. You didn't delete it. You didn't, you know, I'm not going to talk to them. I'm not going to talk to them. You showed up there. But you had a process of acceptance that this is a hard journey. I'm winning. I'm actually taking a step forward. I'm getting closer. They don't need to understand all that. I'm not going to try to convince them. I stop convincing them. I just stand in my own value and my knowledge and I move forward. That's the process you went through to get there.
Yep.
Why was it important for me to clarify that process for you?
Just to reiterate in my mind that I'm on the right path, that, you know, I've extinguished limiting beliefs and that I'm confident.
Right.
Yep.
Now, there's a third jar that people don't know about. which is the excuses, lies, and bullshit jar.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So you've got your board up and you've got to do 30 tasks.
Right.
Some people would be like, oh, I'll get that tomorrow because that guy's not going to be there. That's
Right.
an excuse.
Yeah.
Or I can't do that one right now because I don't have the right tools. Justification, lies, bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, when we're in the disappointment jar and we're in resentment, those are negative feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want those feelings, so we lie or bullshit to have zero feelings.
Right.
You never don't have zero feelings.
No.
So that creates more negative feelings.
Yeah.
So when you're actually in the jar of confidence, where you're winning and life is hard,
Right.
you're building your confidence, that's a positive mindset.
Absolutely.
So these are attitude builders. If I'm in this or this, my attitude is completely different.
Yeah.
So take my pen here.
Yeah.
Hold it on the winning jar.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me life's hard and you're winning.
Life's hard and I'm winning.
Tell me some of your successes in the last 2-3 days, your birthday party, the travel with the wife, right?
Yeah. Birthday
How's that
party.
feel?
Oh, I mean, it feels amazing being able to take my wife on a vacation that she's never been to Europe without the kids and have an amazing time, and then came back and put together a birthday party for my 2-year-old with 40 people and strung together a 100 balloon
So you
arch.
see now your shoulders are back, your head's high, and we're making eye contact.
Yeah.
Now go out and get that funding.
Yeah.
Now go out and do that contract.
Yeah.
Right? This is the place at which you have to operate from. Now
Yeah.
put it over on the other side, where you're disappointed, they didn't return your call, they're ghosting you,
Yeah.
you didn't get to that party, this didn't go together. All the things, the failures of the other two businesses you just told me about, right?
Right.
Let's stay there.
Yeah.
Now go for the funding. Now go for the contract.
Yeah.
So it's very important on a daily basis that you stay laser focused in the process of your confidence, which is going to allow you to acknowledge that you have everything you need. So put it back over there and you can feel the shift right away, right?
Yeah.
So going forward, that board that you had where you didn't do the last two,
Yeah.
you erase and celebrate before you have to get to the end of perfection.
Okay.
Then you set it up and you write another 28
Yeah.
and you do it again.
Okay.
Now, the fact that you've got two there, I could almost guarantee that those two would stay there for another 30 days.
It's possible. You're
Because
right,
that's
yeah.
the way the brain works.
Yeah.
Look at what I've done. I've done 28. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm like better than everyone else. I'm at 95%. You know what? I won't get those two done. You erase the board, you put up another 30, and all of a sudden you're going to continue that path.
Yeah. And you're completely right. And I will do that when I get home.
Yeah. And I know you will because you know that it's the small things that accumulate to make the bigger difference.
Of course, yeah.
I'm just going to check the time here. But you tell me what else for you, in the equation. So you have to take the actions with the CRM,
Yep.
where you have to take all your international clients and get them on there.
Yep.
And you have to focus on what's important in the next 30 days. And the two are the licensing and the funding.
Correct.
What actions after this conversation do you need to do in the next 30 days to make sure that you complete these things so you can have that joy and know you're on the right path?
Well, we had a fantastic meeting earlier this morning, actually, with our Mexican development team. So I've got a list of line items that I need to give to them. I need to get to them the formula that they use to come up with the licensing fee so we can augment that and do that. I need to get the video recording of the live interview. And also we have probably 4 different meetings that we'll need to have in between now and the end of the month to finalize the licensing agreement. Mostly lawyers and board members and that kind of stuff, but once that's finalized, we'll be able to move forward with.
So tell me your next 3 actions you're going to take today that's going to help you go there.
I'm making a mini Scrum Board of all the items that I need to do for specifically the licensing agreement, and then I will subsequently for the other project do a Scrum Board for the funding, and really it's just making sure that we're following up with the people we're sending our funding documents to, and trying to gain the interest to get that thing pushed through.
What's going to get in the way?
I don't see anything that's getting in the way right now.
No obstacles, no time management.
No.
No
I've freed
obligation.
up a lot of time by again doing the Scrum Board last month. That freed up a lot of cobwebs in the brain. So that was good. And then I'm refreshed and ready to go. Just got back from vacation, so I don't foresee anything.
You don't have the vacation doldrums that people have hard time getting back working. You don't have any of that problem?
No, I mean, I was just right back into the fire.
Good.
So,
Which is
yeah,
good.
It was very difficult for me to like unplug for that amount of time, and people respected it. It was the first time ever that I was able
What
to
would
do
you
that.
give for a person out there that hasn't taken time to do that for themselves?
I would say do it. I mean, like it's really tough to get away, and you never want to disappoint, especially being in real estate. Like I know, like he said, I was in real estate for 4 years, and it was an amazing job, but you're constantly on call, and to unplug as a realtor, very, very difficult to do. When I would go away, I would set up my clients with other top
Take
performing
everything, yeah,
agents, hey, these are the guys, but they would still give you that phone call. I know you're on holiday, and then ask you a fairly, redundant question that they just really wanted to hear you say that was, they wanted to have your approval, which is a nice feeling that they have that level.
Yeah,
of
well, you
trust
get
with
addicted to that. You don't value your time anymore. Your time is only valued when other people want you.
Right.
Therefore, you start doing the wrong things. You don't take vacation. You burn out, and then your family, you're divorced, and
Correct.
everything goes out the pipe.
Correct.
So it's important to take the time to rejuvenate yourself, to get to that place where you can have this focus and also have the tools like the Scrum Board put in place.
Absolutely.
So at the beginning, I said everything was about an equation.
Yep.
And your equation is when you do the Scrum Board for the finance and the Scrum Board for the licensing, and you do your follow-up, that's going to get you to the place where you can have this, you're on the right path, and you can get your overall happiness and joy.
Absolutely.
And you see no obstacles in the way of getting there.
Nothing is in the way of. I mean, the only thing that would be in the way of this, if the cell phone towers started breaking down or something.
What would
like
we
that.
do if that happened?
I would literally just go hunt these people down. I guess.
Exactly.
I would drive to them.
You have a solution for every problem. So when the cell towers go down, your gas bill goes up.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, buddy. Well, you've got 3 things you need to do in the next 30 days to achieve what you need to achieve.
I love it.
Thank you for watching this episode of Master Your Genius. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. See you next time.